Happy birthday to us! Bienvenidos! Good morning, everyone! Welcome to La Hora del Cafecito. We're celebrating our first anniversary. Woo! So help us celebrate. Welcome to La Hora del Cafecito, a program dedicated to all those in our community who are living with autism, to all their family members, and all those who support them. My name is Lourdes Quiñones. Welcome. Go ahead and sign yourself in. Let us know below in the comment section if you're drinking coffee with us and help us celebrate. We welcome all your happy birthday comments. Thank you for sharing those. Anyway, I'd like to get started by letting you know that in today's program, we are proud to welcome Melissa Rivera, a representative from the Early Steps program, who will be sharing important information about their program and services. So you can't miss it. Welcome, bienvenida, Melissa, to La Hora del Cafecito.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so before we get started, I'd like to introduce to you our Cafecito hostesses. Óyeme. And as I said before, my name is Lourdes Quiñones. I am a CARD consultant assigned to the primary age group. Professionally, I'm a pediatric physical therapist as well as a special education teacher. Jasmine Castellano is an excellent professional in the field of mental health, is a CARD consultant assigned to the middle and high school age group here in CARD, and is the mother of 3, one of whom is diagnosed with ASD. Welcome, Jasmine. Olivia McDonald is an excellent professional in the field of public health, is a CARD consultant assigned to the primary age group, just like me, and she has a younger brother diagnosed with ASD. Welcome, Olivia.
Good morning. Thank you. Happy anniversary.
Thank you. Mike Aldana is an excellent special education teacher, is a newly elected chair in the CARD's constituency board, and is the mother of 3. One of whom, or 2 of whom are diagnosed with autism. Welcome, Maggie.
Thank you, Lourdes. Happy to be here with everyone. Happy anniversary.
Yeah. Our newest team member, Emma, couldn't join us today. She's taking care of her family today, so we wish all of them health, and we will be seeing her again next week. We send you lots of positive energy, Emma. See you next week, okay? But before we continue, I'd like to review the rules by which we want to adhere throughout this programming in order to remain safe for all of us. We want to make sure that we keep an open mind, a positive attitude, and maintain respectful language. Okay? So, Jasmine, can you say hello to our audience members before we get started?
Yes, I just want to say hi to Mark Fleming, who is watching us now.
Hi, Mark. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Welcome. Anyway, let's get started with Melissa. Melissa, welcome to the program again. And how about we start with you, letting us know a little bit about yourself.
Congratulations in your first year. I'm a coordinator with Early Steps. I'm a military wife. I did live in Germany for about 9.5 years. Now I'm living 5 years in Florida and working with kids with disabilities, special needs, all my life. So I have 3 children. One of them has autism as well. So,
well, thank you for being here. Thank you. Welcome, welcome. We really appreciate your presence in our show.
Always.
Jasmine?
So, Melissa, could you please talk to us about the Early Steps program?
Of course, Jasmine. We are an early intervention program here for infant and toddlers with conditions in their development, any diagnosis. We are here to support the families and provide services at home. Early Steps will, the goal of Early Steps is to provide the services to those kids and families that are in need of their children to get to that age expected functional skills. We're here to empower the families with a smooth process, transition, services at homes, So yes.
Thank you so much for sharing that. We really welcome Early Steps and being here with us and sharing important information about your services in the community and helping out families who are just starting this journey with their children. So thank you for being here.
I have a question for you, Melissa, regarding eligibility. What makes a child eligible for early steps, and I guess what are some of the criteria with that?
Okay, so it's a process, like I mentioned before. The eligibility process include the referral. We get the intakes. After the intakes, we process the information. We call the families and we discuss what are their concerns, if any diagnosis the child has. So we ask for the diagnosis to see if the child is established condition or at risk. We have an at-risk program as well. So we look at all of these areas during that intake. Once the intake is completed, we request a developmental evaluation. That developmental evaluation will let us know if the child is eligible or not to the program. We would know that based on the scores of the assessment, and if the assessment scores come out good, if we see something that it needs to be addressed with the professional opinion of our licensed providers, we will recommend the services and the child can be eligible too.
And they have to be 0 to 36 months, correct?
Yes. So the child needs to be an infant all the way to 36 months for the referral. If it is a predisposition diagnosis, like while in pregnancy, moms knows that the child is coming with Down's syndrome, cerebral palsy, diagnosis like that can be that the family can be aware during pregnancy. They can start looking for information as well, and then from there, when the child is born from the NICU, the referral can be made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's important for you to clarify, because sometimes the children do, the parent does know that the child is, it's in utero already experiencing some sort of diagnosis that predisposes them and is going to predispose them to the possibility of falling behind in their developmental. So some things are very noticeable ahead of time, something like spina bifida, like you said, something like a genetic the condition that it was detected in utero. And at that time, that would happen. Cerebral palsy, it's something that happens around the birth time. And so that then the hospital will know about that also around the birth. And it's not, they don't know the effect of it unless it's very severe. The prematurity, and then they can probably anticipate that. So a lot of oxygen use, prolonged stay in the NICU, and like you said, that would trigger a referral to the Early Steps program, and hence the reason why they say 0 to 36 months period. Okay, so we just wanted to clarify why 0 to 0. That means they're not even born, but that's, you know, so that's good clarification, because I know that has brought up to as a question to me in the past by some parents. So what do you mean 0 to 36? So I just wanted to clarify that. So thank you for clarifying that. Also, I wanted to let you know that what you said, anyone also can start the referral process. So it could be a referral that is triggered once the baby has been born, was sent home from the hospital, not having that
diagnosis
condition, and all of a sudden they start falling behind. So another question that I get a lot from parents is like, you know, they think sometimes that they have to wait for the professional to make that phone call. But what I like that we spoke about in the before we went on, it was like no, anyone can get this going. Anyone can get that referral going, and just wanted to pinpoint that point to our audience.
Of course, Lourdes, everyone can make a referral. It can be the parent, it can be a caregiver, like a foster parent, a friend, whoever, the teacher from school, the primary doctor, whoever that sees that the child is not functioning well in a specific environment can make the referral to early steps. That's correct.
And Melissa, can you tell us a little bit about the usual routes for referral? A little bit more about the process?
Yes, usually the providers call, like it is the primary doctor or the NICU or an agency. We'll send the referral to our referral specialist directly through the phone call or a fax. But you can also find us online on the Early Steps website, and you can make the referral there too. So the families can call directly to the line. If it is a friend that has a child in the program already and has a service coordinator assigned, they can call the service coordinator. We are all here to support in getting the referral.
Thank you.
And right now, we don't have any questions from the audience. But Melissa, what can parents or caregivers anticipate once the referral process has been initiated? And how are you providing services during this period of social distancing?
So yes, Jasmine, the family can anticipate that they are going to get a call from the assigned service coordinator. In that call, the assigned service coordinator is going to explain the process, the philosophy of the program, is going to explain the procedure, safeguards, the rights for the families, is going to gather all the information needed to proceed with the referral. We are going to talk about the concerns, any diagnosis that is in place, all the forms, all the documentation that we need. Once that conversation is in place, we are going to move over to request an evaluation. Now the services, we are adapting to the new video conference and telehealth situation due to the COVID-19. Before, the services were in home. We will go to the house, provide the services right there, do the first contact in person with the family. Now we move to this video conference, so we can get to the homes this way and deliver the services. The same with the providers that we are assigning. They are doing teletherapy. Now we are having a 50% of that service given in the televideo. We don't want this service to go away because it's functioning very good for early steps, as we can get to more families this way. So the evaluation is being completed over video conference. The documentation is being signed electronically, and the services are being delivered via video conference as well. Some families are enjoying this service because they can arrange better their sessions. So we are working through that.
And with the evaluations, what I guess, like both, I guess, pre-COVID and now after COVID, what would kind of be the next steps after that?
So pre-COVID, the evaluation, the family was able to go to our offices and everybody sit down and share their concerns and everything. Now with COVID, we are allowing just one parent with one child, if that is their desire, to do face-to-face evaluation and follow the process that needs to be followed with the CDC guidelines for entering the buildings. It will be one provider with the family there, and then everybody else is going to be in video. Now, with the services, about the same thing. The process is going to be If the family requests telehealth, it will be telehealth. If the family wants the provider to go home, we will try to locate a provider that goes to the house. Following that evaluation, we will decide if the child is eligible or not to the program. So we will assign services based on that evaluation.
And Melissa, I had another question. What are the requirements to qualify for services? Do you have, is there a citizenship status, or are you looking for any other eligibility requirements?
So no, not really. The migratory status has nothing to do with our program. We will receive all children that family have that is a developmental concern to process the referral and bring the services to the home. With eligibility per se, we have different criterias. Like if a child has a diagnosis, the child will be considered established condition for our program, depending the diagnosis. We have a list for that. So they will be going through the process of getting the evaluation complete and the services assigned, but not really eligibility. Now, if the child doesn't have a diagnosis or is at risk, they need to go then through the eligibility, which is mean that based on the scores and the clinical opinion from our evaluators, we will decide if the child is eligible or not for the program, if the child will benefit from services. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And is there a cost involved?
No cost is involved out of pocket from families. Now, we do bill the Medicaid if the child has Medicaid. Now we have a new process where the family can accept or decline for the Medicaid to be billed. And then if the family have private insurance, it's the same process. They can accept or decline for us to bill the private insurance. Now, it's very important for families to know that if they have private insurance and they have Medicaid at the same time, it is mandatory for us to bill the private insurance. If the private insurance doesn't pick the payment up, we'll try to bill the Medicaid. Now, we have Part C funds, and those funds are designed to cover the cost of the therapy and the process. If the family, is not out of pocket for the family, they will never receive a bill. We have those three resources: Medicaid, private insurance, and Part C.
Perfect. And Melissa, what would you tell parents who think that they would like to wait and see to see if their child develops or if they develop at their own time?
So I always encourage the family to go through the process with early steps and do the evaluation. The program is a voluntary program. The family have the choice to decline services or to proceed with the referral. It's up to them. I do encourage them because I do emphasize in that the importance of the early intervention if something is going on. So once the family go through the process and accept that referral, we can provide that strategies, those services, and help the child to get incorporated in their society, to get to that age expectant that we want to see functioning. So if the family declines the services, I always recommend, okay, you can always call us back in 3 months if you continue to see that the child is not making progress. So we have a period from 0 to 35 months that the families can call anytime to make that referral. So I always tell them and send them strategies to work with the child at home, to see if that works with them, always sending them resources, educating, informating them about what early steps is, what it brings to the child and to the family.
And it's so important. I'm so glad that you talked about that, because it's so important to remind our audience that, research has shown that the earlier the intervention, the better. Every child develops at a different rate, And sometimes for some of us, we've had experiences in our family. Sometimes, well, my brother, my uncle, my whoever was delayed, and look at them, they're doing great. However, if we were to think about that, the earlier the child is, the younger the child is, their brain is in full development. Hence the reason why every time they go to the doctor's office every month or so, they get their head checked. It's just to make sure that those nerve connections are being made, which means they're learning and they're developing typically. Sometimes they're developing at their own rate, nothing to be worried about, but sometimes they start falling behind. And then that gap between where they are and where they should be, it was started small, and then all of a sudden they're getting older. That gap is and then we're playing catch up. So it's just easier to get started if needed. Like you said, every 6 months they get evaluated. Maybe all they needed was a little bit push to get through that, to close that gap while it's still small, instead of waiting until the gap is here. And now we're playing catch up to try to get that child into here. So the sooner the better, doesn't hurt anything. Just do that. If you, as a parent, you have a concern, you're feeling like, I don't know, maybe I should go, and you go to your doctor and the doctor agrees, or maybe tells you, let's wait and think. Just keep that in mind. Sometimes it's just better to get a second opinion. Sometimes, that happened with you, Maggie, didn't it? Where your doctor was telling you were observing things and the doctor was saying, wait and see, right?
Yes. Wait and see. And I waited until, we went for regular checkups. My son was in daycare, and, they have to go for their 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, like we were on time every single month. And it wasn't until he was 4 years old where, and I was doing everything, I was like, hey, I'm noticing he's not eating. Oh, don't worry about it. Like he'll eat when he's hungry, or something like, oh, like I noticed that he's not speaking as much. He's 2 years old. Oh, like, don't worry about it. He looks like he's going to be the strong silent type, and he has it, like you could tell he's smart. And it was just like these little things that I would bring up as concerns, but I was told, don't worry about it. So,
Yes.
what do you do? And so once it became something to worry about, because the transitions and like in pre-K, they were becoming overwhelming, then that's when the process started. And all of these other things that I had been noticing that were little signals, little flags, had I been aware, that's why we're doing what we're doing right now. It's just, what, let's just get it checked out. If you're not hearing, what you see, and you want to self-refer to services like Melissa, what she's talking about here, just get it checked out. Get the doubts out of your head. And this is such a wonderful, wonderful resource. So I encourage all our parents to definitely take advantage of it, and it's okay if this is the first time you're hearing about it, or I didn't hear about it until I was already, like 4 years in. So
exactly. And then that little bit of time, there was a big gap now that we have to play catch up. Number one. Number two, that's not to say that every doctor does this.
No,
we're just here to say that you need to follow your intuition. So like in Maggie's case, she had that intuition. She kept following that up with questions, and they were being receptive. Sometimes you need a second opinion. So this might be one of those resources that you could go check it out. Is it your intuition? It doesn't hurt. And they tell you, no, he's okay. She's okay. Just do this. And we pass it on. It's better to be erring on the side of caution than, waiting to, for you later to get that confirmation that may come or may not come. But, be safe, right?
And it wasn't really, like, I noticed too, and at least in my situation, my oldest was not diagnosed, and we had put into place certain things at home where I didn't, it was a very calm environment. The lights were already normally low. We weren't really loud, because, you know, I didn't know my oldest was on the spectrum either. So we already had mannerisms that kind of like catered to the kids. So this was a calm environment. And it enabled us to kind of like, well, it's not like, it was easy for me to just say, well, it's not really a problem. Like, it's not really affecting him day to day at home, because I don't, like, he's eating at home, and he's kind of like pointing at things, he's interacting with his brother, so it's not really a big deal. So, but it was also part of what we had already started transitioning, like our day-to-day routines, where it wasn't a high stress environment. A lot of it came out when he was in an environment where it was overwhelming for him. So that's how it could happen, that you can go for many years. My oldest wasn't diagnosed until he was 13. So I don't want parents to have that guilt, like, oh no, like I didn't, like I haven't done anything in my child's 4. My oldest didn't know until he was 13. So, like it happened. And there's no guilt. You learn and you grow.
So that's why we are here, Maggie, to try to get reach to all these cases, all these families that the same way as you have some feelings, okay, my child is not doing this, some red flags, some alerts. And so if you're feeling like that, call us, because we will support you, we will evaluate, we will hear you. The parents are the best doctor for the child. So tell us, what's going on in your heart. So we listen to that. We look at that. And if you need services, if you need community resources, strategies, we will provide you with whatever is that you need. That's why Early Steps is here. I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, no, don't be. This is what brings me here. And it has me here at the table with this wonderful panel of professionals. So, it's just like, I really, it's what brings me here every day.
That's what I said. I said, listen to yourself, because sometimes even family comes and tells you, oh, your brother was like that. You were like that when you were a child. But you know what? You don't need to struggle with these little things. You call us and we will give you that little push maybe that you need, like Lourdes said. That's why we are here for.
Exactly. And I use the analogy when we were, which is the model that you guys followed at Early Steps, that all of us learned at home. All of us, our parents were our teachers. We learned to ride our bike most likely because our parent held our bike and told us how to do it. And this is what Early Steps does. Early Step is at least invasive as possible. So what they do is, their format is empowering you as a parent to be able to use the strategies that are going to help push your child forward, just like teaching them how to ride a bike. It's like holding them, and you are the teacher. You, like she said, the quote unquote doctor, in other words, the teacher. You are the person that can help them, give them the right tools, give them the information that will empower you to carry on the strategies that are going to be needed in your own home, in your own setting and format. Like Maggie said, they figured out something that worked for them and the family. So that's what Early Steps is here to do. So I really, really appreciate it. But I wanted to take a moment to ask Jasmine, do we have any comments?
We have one comment from Ms. Borges. She says, great job to all of us. So thank you so much for that comment. And we also have Laura, Gabriela, and Alicia with us today.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. And we hope you're enjoying and are taking advantage of this information. And if you have somebody in your family, a neighbor or friend who may be pregnant at this time, maybe thinking of getting pregnant, or maybe have children in the age group that we're talking about, 0 to 3 years old, be sure to show them this information, this program, give them this resources so that they know where they can find help. Because again, it's just about keeping your eye out on things. But before we go, I wanted to really make sure that we thank Melissa for being here. We want to ask her, is there anything else you wanted to share with us before we go?
Yes, for sure. I think I leave a little things out with the eligibility and everything. So we are a coaching model. In early steps, we are here to provide you, like Lourdes said, the strategies you guys need to build up the skills for your child. Also, the referral period takes 45 days from the day we receive the referral up to the day that you get the services at home. We process the referral within 5 days. If we can do it earlier, that's great. So then we do the evaluation and then we implement services, all that in those 45 days. Once everything is located, we will follow up with you every 6 months for review progress monitoring. Then once a year, we will do a redetermination of services if the child is not established condition. From there, we also support the families with the transition to the school system. After they are 30 months, we begin that transition process. When they turn 35 months to 36 months, they start transitioning to the school. We try to do the process as smooth as we can. So we are here to support with that too. There is other resources that while your child is in the program, we will be able to provide you. It is something that is needed for help your child to get those skills that the child needs, puzzles or blocks or things like that will help during therapy. So we can provide that. We have some funds for that, as well as if the PT needs some instrument to work with the child, we will support with that as well. If it is something with audiology, if you have concerns with your child's hearing, with your child feeding, with your child's behavior, we are here for that as well. So I just want to make sure that you guys got all the information. You can find that also in our website.
Yes, we're going to be sharing that information on the website, on the comments. So thank you for doing all that stuff. And it's great to know that even now with the feeding, this is something new to early steps that I didn't know when in my time when I used to be an early steps interventionist through my own private company. But I did provide those early intervention years, so I'm very familiar with the program, and that wasn't included then. So I'm so glad to hear that, and also the evaluation process. And so you shared with us some of the new evaluations that can be done. So it's a great resource. If you have questions about any of their programs and services, you can give Melissa the department a call, right, Melissa?
Yes, of course, Lourdes. They can call me, contact me directly. My phone number is 813-853-5969. I think you guys will upload that in the chat too. So I'm here to answer questions, concerns, provide you, if you need just some handouts or resources, strategies. I put myself in this position to do all that. So you guys want to contact me by email, phone, you can do.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, because we know that this service is so needed. And again, we just want to promote people, this information, provide this information so that you have it at hand, because you may not need it now, but in the future, you or someone you know may need this information. So it's always good to have that in the back of your mind. Okay. So we want to thank you very much, Melissa, for having been here. Thank you for sharing this important information and for making yourself available for our audience to reach out.
Thank you for having me.
We really want to keep this contact with you and with Early Steps, because we want to bring this kind of information every year as a reminder to new audiences. So we'll be reaching out. Like I said, today we're celebrating our first birthday, our first anniversary. Woo! So, you know, we hope to be calling you again next year for our second anniversary so that we can do this again. But anyway, we also want to remind you that next week our topic is actually going to be an interview of Amanda Keaton, a CardioSF alumni, who is going to be talking to us about ASD evaluation processes and some of the evaluations out there. And the ADOS evaluation and those kinds of things. So be sure to tune in next week as well. It's going to be a bilingual show next week. So we hope to have you there. So thank you so much. But before we go, I want to ask you for a little favor, and that's if you could please click on the link that Jasmine is either already provided or is going to be providing. That is the way that we can assess how we're doing today, is the way we can justify the time that it takes us to create these kinds of episodes and bring this information to you, and also to be on the air with you. It takes less than 60 seconds. If, you know, you go over there, you check us out. And even if you've done it before, could you please do it one more time? Because every time we're present in on the audience, we need to justify the time that it took us to be here. So it just help us out that way, okay? And before we go, again, we'd like to ask you to please give us a like, share our page. Remember, there's a birthday card out there. If you can just sign it, let us know that you were watching this and help us celebrate. And hopefully we'll see you next week. I got to get home busy with this little guy over here and celebrate it. You know, I'll let you know, guys, how it tasted. But we hope you have a great week and a wonderful weekend. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.